in physical metals that hold their value. The Bank for International Settlement says this is inflation fighting. This is also private. Gold held in your home runs no political risk. And it's great for a crisis. And I do think, I think that what's coming up is going to make 2020 look like chump change. And that was pretty significant. Don't believe Wall Street. Don't believe them because they don't have your best interest at heart. To them, you are simply a number from which they can transfer wealth, and they can get you to pay for all of their fees and take all of the risk as they march off with all of the wealth. The Venezuelan stock market, the IBC, decreased 99.55% since the beginning of 2021. Now, you tell me, if all you can do is convert those stocks into fiat money, the fiat money has no value, and they consistently redenominate, which will happen here. It's happening everywhere. It's got to happen everywhere. We're at the end of the system's life cycle. And honestly, you have to ask yourself the question. Because people will all go, well, that's over there. This is over here. This is different. We aren't doing anything different than they're doing, really. But, I mean, any distance that there was between them, because that $7 trillion or however much the whole infrastructure package is going to be, okay, the Fed is going to finance that through. The government's going to issue debt, the Fed's going to buy it. So when they talk about tapering, garbage. If they talk about raising, we'll raise rates in 2023. I mean, give me a break. It's just stupid. It's just theater. That's all it is. But I do get a lot of questions all the time about how can we use our gold. During hyperinflation, everybody is so crystal clear of how rapidly the currency is losing value, and shopkeepers cannot replace the goods for what they're charging in terms of the currency. They would rather have gold. They would rather have silver. They would rather have what will hold its value. And why does gold and silver hold its value? Because it is broadly used. It has the broadest base of functionality. And even now, diverse demand in H1 came from both new and regular buyers. Of all financial assets, it has the broadest utility because it is used across the entire global economy. Jewelry, ETFs, Wall Street, so mutual funds, etc., similar products, technology, central banks, and other institutions, as well as investors. So maybe this one's a little bit lower, but this one is up higher. And it never has gone to zero in 6,000 years. You can't say that about currencies. You can't say that about stock markets. You can't say that about bonds. You can't say that about anything other than physical gold and silver. This is why. I mean, it's not rocket science. So the CBDC will be accompanied by a monetary redenomination that eliminates 6 zeros from the currency. For reference, Bloomberg's Café con Leche index, sets the cost of 1 cup of coffee at 7,662,898 bolivars, a little less than $2. That's a smidge higher. That's a smidge higher than Venezuela's minimum wage, which sits at 7 million bolivars after a 289% adjustment in May. So all of these minimum wage increases, which of course we're doing here as well, I gotta tell you, it by design. It will never keep pace with inflation. Never, ever, 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 ever. Here's proof. And here's also showing you, and we'll keep following this all the way through. Do you really think that Venezuela's hyperinflation is going to be over because they launch a digital bolivar? I don't think so. Because they already tried launching a digital currency when they did the devaluation in 2018. The move will bring the total number of redenominations in the last 15 years to 3, which is the average number. I don't know whether it'll be more this time or what it'll be here or globally. I can't tell you. But to 3, deceased former President Hugo Chavez wiped off 3 zeros from the ledger in 2007. His successor, Nicolas Maduro, used the creation of the country's own cryptocurrency, the Petro, as an opportunity to shave off 5 zeros in 2018. But if you do not change behavior, nothing really ever changes. And we know that that country, 90% of the population is in abject poverty. Nominal confusion, which is a key tool when they designed the currency system, the fiat currency system, they knew that nominal confusion would hide, or that inflation really causes nominal confusion. And so people see the stock markets going up and, hey, they've got a raise, they raised the minimum wage, or you're making more money than you were before. But if the cost of living is greater and grows faster than your increased income, then you're really not better off. In fact, you're worse off. But I want to talk a little bit about the stock market. Because from 2012 through 2018, as the hyperinflation was really kicking into gear, Venezuela had the best stock market. You've heard me say that many, many times. Well, there you go. Best performing stock market. These monster stock gains are really just a devaluation quirk. We've been taught to think that there's no other choice but stocks and bonds and ETFs and mutual funds, all these paper fiat money assets. But we have good choices. We have real money choices that are out of the system, actually decentralized, actually invisible, and not vulnerable to inflation abuse.